And I'm going to start, I thought I would start by reading the list of countries that are currently part of the so-called visa waiver program. And for those of you who may not be aware of what the visa waiver program is, it's a program of the United States government in agreement with these countries that I will read shortly, that exempts visitors from nationals from these countries from having to apply for a visa to come to the United States as visitors, as long as they don't exceed their stay for more than 90 days. So basically, it relieves citizens of these countries from the bureaucracy and process of having to go to the local U.S. consulate, applying for a visa, potentially being denied one, and as long as they have a passport, they can come in. Let me read the countries. Andorra. Does anybody know where Andorra is? It's a little tiny country, a speck of a picture between Spain and France. Australia, Austria, Belgium, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, San Marino, Brunei, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Japan, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco, the Netherlands, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. May I have some reactions from the audience as to what this list tells you?
That's a problem. It's a problem for me because it's not inclusive. It hasn't been for a number of years.
None of the
No African countries.
No African countries.
One Asian country? Singapore?
Japan and Singapore.
Well, Japan lends us money on a daily basis, so I understand that politically.
And Singapore is a very wealthy and tiny country, and so is Brunei. Right? Brunei, the Emirate of Brunei, is a very tiny, wealthy country. And so, other than Brunei, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea, I believe those are the 4 non-European countries on the list. Every other country is a European country, and a white. These are white countries.
South America?
No Latin American countries. No African.
Israel's not there. No Middle Eastern countries.
No Middle Eastern countries. And let me read you the conditions for being on this list. To be admitted to the visa waiver program, a country must meet various security and other requirements, such as an enhanced law enforcement and security-related data sharing with the United States, timely reporting of both blank and issued lost and stolen passports. They're also required to maintain high counter-terrorism, law enforcement, border control, and document security standards. In addition, designation as a visa waiver country is at the discretion of the United States government. Meeting the objective requirements of the program does not guarantee a successful candidacy. Immigration law is the only area of law in this country that is not subject to the discrimination principles on which this nation stands. Immigration law has been upheld time and time again by the Supreme Court under the principle of sovereignty of the country. It's been determined time and time again, and it's been challenged several times. Some recent challenges were the Japanese internment situation. The most recent challenge was involved the NAACP concerning the interdiction of Haitian refugees in the 90s after President Aristide was forcefully overthrown, and thousands of Haitians escaped the violence that erupted. Very much in contrast to what's being done with Cuban refugees at exactly the same time, another country that is in the same geography as Haiti, etc. The Supreme Court upheld the right of the United States to discriminate against Haitian refugees and return them to Haiti, contrary to what was being done and continues to be done with Cuban refugees or Cuban, I don't know which one call them, the Cuban immigrants who land in this country. They are automatically granted asylum. So this is an area in which clearly this country has consistently discriminated on the basis of racial preferences or ethnic preferences, and continues to do so, as we can clearly see by the visa waiver program. If a poor Latin American peasant or urban worker wants to come to this country to either visit or work, he or she will be unable to do so. This country will not allow low-skilled, poor immigrants from Latin America to either come to visit legally or to obtain a work visa. To begin with, we only issue 10,000 low-skilled visas a year annually across the board. So this country will not accept legally more than 10,000 low-skilled workers legally. Yet we have millions of jobs for this kind of worker. People who work in meat plants across the country, agricultural workers, hospitality workers. And some people do take exception to the statement that American workers, there are not enough American workers to do these jobs, but in fact it is a reality. There are there's a very small number of American citizens with less than a high school education who are the candidates for these kinds of jobs. Anyone who has a certain level of education will aspire to better jobs, better paying jobs, more prestigious jobs. And the fact is that many of these jobs there are no takers for them, and that we do need a foreign workforce to do them. Yet we will not accept them into this country legally. There's only one way we allow them in, and that is in a clandestine way. They have to find their way by swimming across the river or the trunk of a car or crossing the desert at their risk. And then once they're here, we will hire them, we will give them these jobs, we will exploit them, we will deny them all kinds of rights and benefits. And as long as they accept these conditions, we close our eyes and turn the other way. But the minute they start asking for some basic rights, we start deporting them. And we've done that historically time and time again. There have been massive deportations of primarily Mexicans, since they are the majority of the Latin Americans. Over time, they were deported during the Great Depression, and they were deported indiscriminately. Many of them were U.S. citizens. They were born here, yet they were deported. We are in another wave of deportations. Last year we reached a record 400,000 in deportations. Many, or most of them, were Latin Americans. Most of them were folks with no criminal record of any kind, people who are no threat to our national security in any way, people who may have been here for decades, people who are heads of families, who have children who are born and raised here and remain here, now without their parents, who are the breadwinners and their support, and are now living at our expense. Thank you very much, because their parents are gone. These are folks who may have attempted to correct their legal status, and many have done so at great cost, paying thousands of dollars in fees, and but to no avail, because the law does not allow them to adjust their status. There's just no way someone who came in here legally can adjust their status today in any way. They may be married to a U.S. citizen, they may have an employer willing to sponsor them, they may have a spotless record, they may be paying their taxes every year, they may own a home, they may have children. None of this matters. There's nothing they can do to adjust their status. So it's a very, very unfortunate picture, but that's the reality of our immigration system today. In the back, we have some petitions that, if you are so inclined, we would love to have you sign to our senators and to our congressmen, asking them to stop funding this program of deportations and quickly work on a very badly needed reform. This is something that's been stuck in Congress for over 20 years. We have not had a reform of our immigration laws since the mid-90s. So we really need some legislative reform, and we ask that you please read up on it and help us try to get some movement in Congress. I also would like to anticipate, and this is tentative, but hopefully we'll have more details soon, that on July 5th we're going to hopefully work with the public library on setting up a community dialogue around immigration, hopefully with the cooperation of the Y and some of the congregations in town and some other organizations. And if so, you'll be reading about it in the paper, and we invite everybody to come and participate. Thank you very much.